All right, we're on our way to meet my first guest. His name, ooh, nice. Excellent. His name is Brandon. And boy, oh boy, does he have something special in the garage I want to show you. We're almost there. Wonder if he's home. Hope so.
Hello?
Hey dude, I'm here.
All right, man. I'll be right out.
Cool. All right. See you. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Woo!
Come on in, take a look.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I will soon, soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom, vroom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in.
Welcome to Heart and Horsepower.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Brandon, Kochens. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Long story. Born in Omaha, Nebraska. Moved to Dallas, Texas. Lived there for a little bit, then we moved to Chicago. So I really don't know what to tell people at this point, to be honest with you. I just tell everyone I'm from Chicago because it makes sense.
Okay. What do we have here? What's back there?
So this is a 1966 Ford Mustang convertible. It's a 289 four-barrel V8,
Nice.
about 225 horsepower. I did. I had to because I knew you were going to drill me on it. But no, it's not a lot of horsepower, but it's light, so it's very fast.
Okay.
You know, so it'll get up. Yeah, it'll get up when it needs to.
Well, it's really clean, man. Let's take good care of it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I put some work into it. I mean, my grandpa bought this off of some guy in Arkansas, and it was a candy apple red, ugly as hell. So fixed it up. It was in bad shape. They had to do everything to it. So grandpa didn't want to put all the money into it, so Eric did that. Ended up, Eric moved, so grandpa kept it. So this thing literally went from his garage to his club to play cards once a Friday for like 20 years. Basically, when he stopped driving it, we came home as kids, we would play in this thing in Omaha growing up. He's like, don't touch that, don't touch that. He picked me up in the Mustang one time for family reunion, and he drives straight through a red, stops at a green. I come inside, I'm like, Grandma, I don't think you should be letting Grandpa drive anymore, right? So he's like, okay, it's time to sell. They had it listed for sale, couldn't get what they wanted, offered him, fair price for it, and we got the car and we got to keep it in the family. So miles, it's like 80,000 miles, super low, all original, yep. Besides the paint color, obviously they chose that, and I'm so glad they did because the midnight blue is beautiful. So for my birthday this year, she found a die-cast model of a 66 Mustang. It was cream colored though.
Okay.
She looked all over, couldn't find the blue.
There are none on the internet that match his cute little dark navy blue color. So I had to do it myself. After thousands of bids on eBay, I finally won this guy. He was dirty, had a broken wheel, needed a lot of cleaning and sanding. But that's okay. We painted 10 layers, probably. That's what it felt like. The taping took forever. It was tedious. There's still some on my bathrobe.
And every time I call home, I think I was out of town. I don't remember what I was doing. And she goes, oh, I'm working on your birthday project. I'm working on your birthday. I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, are you painting me something? Because I could hear her like doing brush strokes and whatnot. So she took this. She said it took her like literally 24 hours to paint this.
Here's the finished thing. That's not my hand. It's pretty cute, right? He liked it.
She found the exact same model, which is amazing. I've never seen anything like this before, and it was honestly the coolest gift I've ever got.
Did she paint the interior too?
No, that was all done. So It's got the original pony interior, same steering wheel and everything. So pretty cool.
I'm glad you brought that up because you know why you can tell that's exactly the same model is because of this E right there. Did you know that on yours?
No.
That's the only.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
the 66.
That's right. Yep. Honestly, buying this car made me kind of realize you can do a lot of stuff yourself.
If you try, right?
If I try, yeah.
If you can't, you can get YouTube or other outlets you can figure out how to do it yourself.
Yeah, there's so many forums that show you what the engine is, what you need to do, and I mean, God, the sweat and tears I poured into this thing with just trying to get it to stop leaking. And if you look underneath it recently, yeah, I think you know a little bit about that.
Looking to do stuff to it, is it hard to find parts?
No, there's a place called CJ Pony Parts that I use to order most of the stuff. I mean, there's so many. It just depends on what you're looking for. The hard part is figuring out exactly what fits what model. But most of those guys on the forum, when you email them, they help you out figure out what it is that you need. So we mess with the radiator, carburetor, spark plugs. Paint job is theirs, but all those bucket seats, pony style, all original. The dash, I mean, they even have the original ashtrays in there. When I bought it, I just kind of just started driving it. I didn't know anything about them. I was like, oh, it's a convertible. I want a convertible living in Chicago. So it was ugly though.
Would you ever modernize it?
I don't think so. I like that it has the classic look. I like
Yeah.
that the rims are old school. I mean, they're hubcaps. You can
Yeah.
pop those right off. I thought about maybe putting updated rims on it, but I just wasn't my style.
Okay.
Even the radio, I kept it all original.
that's right.
Yeah.
How about the engine? Would you change the engine for any reason?
I mean, if I had the money to put it down, I mean, that's expensive, but honestly, it's just a cruiser. I don't really care to rip it up I mean, it's got enough horsepower for me.
Well, I think the Mustang really is such an iconic car, right? I mean, I think even if you didn't know anything about cars,
Yeah.
you would know that's a Mustang.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the comments come from older men. They're like, I used to drive one of those in high school. I should have kept it.
So tell me about Bella. Your tank horse.
Bella, yeah. So she's going to be 13. I understand you have a Connie Corso as well. Yeah. She's 13. So yeah, her legs aren't doing great. They started failing. We went back home for Chicago over Christmas, and I don't know if she jumped out of the truck or what, but she just couldn't stand up. So we resorted to picking her up with a harness. It's the saddest thing in the world. I mean, you've met her before, but yeah, she used to ride this thing all the time in Chicago. We would take her down to my buddy's boat in the dock, and we would just kind of cruise, and she's looking around, and everybody's just loving it. And they're like, there's a Connie Corso in the back of a convertible Mustang, it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's tough. We haven't been for a ride in a long time, but weather's getting nicer. Obviously, I think we'll try to get her out there soon.
If there was anything about it that you could change, I read there's an issue with the gas cap. Is that true?
Gas cap's a pain in the ass. I mean, you have to perfectly put it on in the right position and then clockwise turn it so it gets stuck. So if you don't have it the right way, I mean, I did it just yesterday, filling up gas. It took me 10 different tries to get this thing to sit perfectly. Because it's hooked on with almost like a lure lock of a keychain, if you will. So if you don't put it on specifically at the right angle and then turn it like this, it won't catch. So I've been driving down the road before and it just pops off and you hear this king, king, king scratching the back of it and all that. But
So take it off. Where do you put it? Because
it stays.
It stays.
It's got this big key lock that's, real tight metal and it just hangs.
Does it hit the bumper?
Yeah. No, not the bumper, the back, right where all the paint job is.
Exactly. So that's why I heard that.
I would change that though. I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, besides like the right rear tire kind of leaking air all the time because of the hubcaps, it's a little difficult to keep the air in. I don't know why it's pinching the valve or whatever, but that's about it. Honestly, when I bought it, like I said, new radiator, carburetor, some spark plugs. I haven't had to do much. It's been pretty solid. And for the price I paid, it's like a no-brainer.
What's your favorite thing about it?
I mean, top down today,
down.
67 degrees. Yeah, just cruising, kind of like open roads. There's a lot of good driving spots in the south of Tennessee to just kind of hit the road.
Do you always drive with the top down?
It's cold.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime, there's no heat, there's no AC, there's no power brakes, there's no power steering. So you don't want to be driving this thing if it's icy out at all. My girlfriend jokes, she's like, can I drive it? I was like, if you can turn the wheel and hit the brakes hard enough, you can drive it. But she hasn't taken me up on that offer yet. So top down usually only.
So do you come in here and just stare at it every now and then?
No,
No?
I'm not. I'm not that bored. No, I've got more stuff to do than that. But I will say after I cleaned it up, knew you guys were coming. So I did come in the garage. I was like, it's a pretty damn good looking car. I will admit that.
It's like a weekend type deal?
Honestly, just because I had a lot of issues with the leaking, the transmission, the oil pan, I fixed all that up. That was a pain because there's no clearance, as you can see. And even putting on the little lift, there's not a whole lot of room. So I'm almost a bit nervous the older it gets, the more miles I get, to keep the distance within 50 miles or less, like an hour to 2 hour drives. I'm not taking it on a weekend trip. I just don't trust parking it next to someone all tight. Nashville's a big city and yeah, so not really, to be honest. I mean, maybe I should throw Bella in the back and take one last trip with her, as
Should.
Yeah, little weekend trip.
If somebody was looking to get one of these, what advice would you give them?
I mean, there's a lot of different websites, but I think my grandpa found this on Craigslist.
Okay.
So he just typed in 66 Mustang. There's a lot of forums out there. Facebook, there's a ton of cars on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've never honestly taken the time to look into Mustang clubs and what, like I told you, I mean, I was a little young for those guys to hang out and sip coffee and talk cars, but yeah, just Google it online. You can find anything online.
Okay. Anything that would be an issue for someone that was going to buy one, like make sure you look for, I mean, it's prone to rust in this particular spot. Or...
Yeah, I wish I would have probably driven it around a little bit more because I drove it from my grandpa's house to a family reunion in the park and then back to his house. I was like, oh, it's great. I'll take it. You know, ship it to me. I would definitely drive it just to make sure, let it sit idle, get underneath the hood, make sure. And if you look at the hood, it's nothing fancy. It's not chromed out or anything like that, which I don't care. But there's definitely some spots when I first got it were leaking, smoking. You had to tighten up this, tighten up that, which to the naked eye you can't see unless you drive it. Just get out and rip it.
Does everything work? Like, did it work when you got like the wipers, all the headlights, and all the things?
I mean, that wiper will move, but it'll fall off the blade. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you don't drive it in the rain anyway, so you don't get the wipers.
I don't. And the funny thing is, last summer I found a guy down in Murfreesboro, and he does Bluetooth radio for old cars,
Cool.
custom Mustangs, I think like Thunderbird, stuff like that. Okay. So he took my old deck, put it on, took the old deck out and put all wireless Bluetooth everything in it. And now it has subwoofer, all that. So, you know, the old dial and stuff.
Yeah.
It even changes all that. Dude's a great guy. So after he did it, this car didn't have enough voltage, you know, support. So I'm driving at night. I got the headlights on. Lily and I are on the highway. We're going on a date. And all of a sudden the headlights shut off on the highway. And I had like 25 minutes to get home. I was like, what is going on? Turn off the radio, headlights come back on. Turn on the radio, headlights go off. I was like, crap. So I got it home. So I don't drive it at night very much because I don't trust that the power underneath there can support it. So
would you ever sell it?
I don't think so. I think it's so inexpensive that it's not like the money's going to change. You know, it's not like $100,000 car. And to keep it in the family, I would always say that my nephews are probably going to drive this one day, take it to prom, whatever. But no, I don't think so.
What's your best memory of this car?
Probably, I would say putting my dog in the back and driving around Chicago. Just seeing how happy she was. I mean, dogs love car rides anyways. So I think the older she gets, it's pretty cool. It's nostalgic, right? So I think that's probably my favorite memory. That or playing in it when we were kids with my grandpa, and the fact that, you know, I bought this off of him and he's had it since the 90s and we were in there just, I mean, that's probably where part of my problems are coming from, us just shifting it in the garage when we're not supposed to be. So
is he still around here?
yeah, he is. He turns 95 a couple weeks. I'm actually going back to Omaha for his birthday. So
Does he know you're doing this?
he doesn't. No, he doesn't even know I'm coming for his birthday. So
That's awesome.
I'm going to try and surprise him. Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh my God! Who didn't lock the door?
Hey, Grab. How are you?
Hey, nice to see you.
You too. What's going on?
It's in the same time.
Happy birthday.
Let those ponies sing. The ashtrays back there.
Yeah, they don't get much use, but
Well,
I imagine they did at one point.
Is there any like leftover stuff in there?
There wasn't. I checked, although I did find a bottle opener in there the other day that was kind of down in the wheel well of the trunk, and I texted my grandma and I said, is this yours? And she goes, I don't know where that came from. And I said, it's not mine. So Paul was...
Dude, I am surprised how quiet this thing is.
It's super quiet, and it's nice. I mean, with the top down, you can hear each other, you can talk. Top up is a different story.
I mean, if you think of this thing, what, 50, 60 years old?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
I mean, there's no rattling.
No, I mean, we put a crossbar underneath. We put a crossbar underneath because it was shaking quite a bit, but now it's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
But she likes 65, 70 is kind of her idling zone, if you will. Not idling, but her cruising speed.
There's no like wobble going on.
There's no wobble. If you get around 55 and you'll kind of feel it, it will a bit, but then you just kind of know where she sits. Like every guy that has his own car, you kind of know.
Well, I was going to ask you earlier and I forgot.
Put your seatball on, Eric.
Oh, yep.
Safety first.
Who put those in?
Well, I have to say, the host himself right here, you helped put these in. I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
So I think one thing I wanted to ask you and I forgot is it doesn't have a name.
Sally. I mean,
Sally?
unoriginal.
Mustang Sally?
Mustang Sally.
I guess I had a pretty good.
What was it?
Steve?
No, we're going to hard pass on that. Yeah. Dad joke.
I thought you would like that though.
No, I don't want to name this
You
Steve.
want to name it Steve?
Mustang Steve.
So when it's like kind of crazy hot summers. I mean,
No, you can't
if
drive
you don't,
this.
because if you park it, you get back in, you burn your face off.
It burns. There's no AC. There's go ahead and open it and see if you feel any breeze.
But you got to go all the way,
There it is.
and there it is. If you're wearing shorts, bonus.
It doesn't help. I've thought about getting those beads you see a bunch of guys that have on the leather seats,
For real?
just to keep it cooler because your back sticks to this and you're going like this all the time. Always get the vitamin D. Nature's, free medicine.
3 months.
Free medicine. God, it's gorgeous today.